David stood quietly at the door, briefcase still in hand, as Emma wrapped her arms tightly around him. Her embrace was warm, almost desperate. It was the kind of hug that spoke of longing, guilt, and perhaps fear. He didn't return it right away. His eyes were fixed on the phone lying on the dining table, the screen still glowing. "I forgive you." The message was clear, simple, and yet it felt like a knife. It wasn't from him. It was from Jack. 2 weeks earlier, everything had seemed perfect. Emma had been more affectionate than usual, cooking his favorite meals, initiating soft, meaningful conversations. David had told himself maybe this was what marriage looked like after the storm, after the fights, the cold silences. Maybe they had finally turned a corner. But now he knew. That warmth was hiding something. That silence wasn't peace, it was a cover. Emma pulled away slowly, sensing the stiffness in his posture. "You're quiet," she said, brushing a hand over his chest. "Long day?" David gave a vague nod, managing a small smile. Something like that. His mind raced as he sat down. He couldn't stop thinking about that message. Who was Jack? Why did he need to forgive her? He didn't confront her that night. Instead, he watched, listened, paid attention to all the things he used to miss. The way she smiled while texting, how she carried her phone even to the bathroom now, how she suddenly seemed too perfect. The next morning, David took a sick day from work. He spent hours going over memories, trying to spot signs, red flags he'd ignored. And then he did something he never thought he'd do. He went through her phone. Most of the messages were gone, deleted. But Jack's number was still there, listed under a fake name. Elisa Yoga. He clicked. No messages. But one remained in the trash folder. "I needed last night more than you'll ever know." David felt sick. That evening, Emma came home humming, carrying his favorite wine. She kissed him on the cheek like nothing had happened. David played along. He poured the wine. He smiled, but something had shifted in him. He no longer saw the woman he loved. He saw a stranger in familiar skin, and he had a plan. A week passed. David became a mirror, reflecting Emma's warmth with his own, hiding the storm quietly brewing underneath. He made love to her, laughed with her, sat across from her at dinner and stared straight into her eyes, all the while knowing she was lying with every breath. He didn't confront her. Not yet. Because David had found Jack. Jack was younger, a photographer, charismatic, the kind of man who knew how to say all the right things at the right time. David had seen his Instagram. A recent post, just a few days old, a blurry photo of a woman in the moonlight standing by a window. The caption read, "Even forgiveness has a cost." Emma didn't know David had created a fake account. She didn't know he had messaged Jack pretending to be someone else, someone curious, flirty, and bold. Within 3 days, Jack was talking. Too much. That's when David found out everything. Emma had told Jack she was married, yes, but also claimed David was abusive, neglectful, cold, lies, every last one of them. And Jack, he had believed her. He wasn't a monster. He thought he was rescuing her, but David was no abuser. And now he wanted the truth to come out, not in anger, not in revenge, but through something far more devastating: exposure. One evening, David invited Emma to a quiet weekend cabin in the mountains. Just the two of them. She was thrilled. "This is exactly what we need," she said, hugging him. He just smiled. What she didn't know was that Jack was invited too, just not by name. David had sent Jack a message from the fake account. "You should come surprise her. She's waiting for you." It was snowing lightly the morning Jack arrived. He knocked on the cabin door, a single rose in hand. Emma opened the door. The color drained from her face. "Jack?" she whispered, her voice sharp with panic. David stepped out from the kitchen, holding 2 cups of coffee. "Morning," he said calmly, handing one to Jack. "You must be the man who forgave my wife." Silence. Jack looked between them, confused. "Wait, you're her husband?" Emma stammered. "David, I can explain." David raised a hand, silencing her. "No, I already know everything." Emma's eyes filled with tears. It was a mistake. But David raised a hand, silencing her. "No. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. You built an entire lie. You let another man believe I was hurting you." Jack turned to Emma, realization hitting him. "You said he was dangerous." She couldn't meet his eyes. David exhaled slowly. "I brought you here so you could see the truth, Jack. I'm not the villain of this story. I just needed you both to see each other for who you really are." He picked up his coat. "I'll be filing for divorce." he said. You can keep each other's lies. And with that, he left. 1 month later, Emma sat alone on the same couch where she used to laugh with David. Jack hadn't stayed. He couldn't, because the truth David showed him was undeniable and ugly. She reached for her phone, staring at the last message David had ever sent her. You hugged me when you got forgiven by someone else. That's all I needed to know. Tears blurred the screen, but there was no one left to wipe them away.